Good morning and welcome back to the birth experience. If you're growing a baby and also planning a trip, whether it's a baby moon, a business trip, or just visiting family, this episode is going to be your go-to guide because traveling while pregnant, girl, it is totally different. It's not impossible, but it is something you need to prepare for. So today we're covering when it's safe to travel, airline cruise rules, because you know what? They can actually kick you off or not let you on. How to travel more comfortably, what to pack, and if you're like me and you're sick to the end, I'm going to give you some hacks for nausea and exhaustion when you're on the go. So let's dive in because we are all about helping you navigate all the twists and turns of pregnancy. All right, let's talk about, is it safe to travel while pregnant? The general rule of thumb is that most travel is considered safe up to 36 weeks if you are having an uncomplicated pregnancy. Now, like always, I don't know your complete medical history, but you and your doctor do. So make sure that you go over travel if you're getting close to 36 weeks or if you're high risk. So first trimester, ladies, is safe, but here's the twist. It's often miserable thanks to being nauseous, exhausted, bloating, just generally not feeling like yourself, emotional, all the things. Second trimester, this is the sweet spot. This is my favorite time. Even though with Lainey and with Hunter, I was still a bit sick in the second trimester, but you feel a little bit better typically, and you're not as exhausted as a first trimester, and you aren't too big and round yet. So it is a little bit easier during second trimester. So if you're planning trip for your pregnancy, this is when I would say plan it. Third trimester, travel starts getting a little harder. Most airlines, cruise ships have some strict cutoffs, and it's just generally difficult the bigger you get and the more aches and pains you have, especially if you have to sit still for a while. So, cruise rules, which if you're a Florida girl like me, I'm a Florida girl living in Nashville. Most cruises will not let you board after 24 to 28 weeks, which is really shocking to most women. They don't even think that's going to be a restriction, but often you have to have a doctor's note on top of being allowed to board if you're pregnant. So make sure you really research the cruise line that you are cruising with, which totally not getting paid to say this, but if you're going out of Miami, look at MSC cruise lines. They are the best. They are so affordable. European, it's not a party ship, mind you, which if you're pregnant, I'm really hoping you're not looking for a party ship. Airlines. Most domestic airlines will allow you to fly up to 36 weeks, but international flights often restrict after 28 to 32 weeks. So call ahead and get and I'm saying this in quotes, fit to fly. Try to say that really fast, ladies. Fit to fly. It's a little difficult. And you get a fit to fly note just in case you need it, but I would go ahead and get a note from your provider. All right, so now we're going to talk about whether you should fly or drive, which is better. And this is a question we get a lot in our Mama membership. We get asked a lot about travel. So let's talk about the pros and cons. So flying is faster, fewer bathroom stops because you got the bathroom right there with you. The cons are getting through security, cabin pressure, not being able to get up and move, which we're going to talk about the importance of that. And you might have limited space. Some of you guys might get motion sickness, which you could also get in cars. The pros of cars, more control. You can travel as much as you want each day that you're traveling. I would plan it out if it's a long trip and do some flexible stopping. Plan out getting up and walking around. And we're going to talk about that in a minute as well. The cons of a car: longer sitting time, back pain, motion sickness, and general boredom. I love car trips, though. I just have to confess, I am the queen of car trips. I have so many tips. I should do an episode for you guys on car trips with toddlers because I am a master. Y'all know I did travel nursing for the most of my career. And some of you guys know that I did that with my children because I was homeschooling. So at some points, I had 5 children with me traveling in cars across the United States. We would drive from the East Coast to the West Coast, and I had little tips and tricks that I did. So I'll have to do an episode for you guys because I did that with 2 toddlers, not at once, Lainey and Grayson as they grew up. Okay, so some pro tips for you guys. Stop every 1 to 2 hours to stretch those legs and move your body. Do a little stretching routine, like walk around a rest area, walk around Target if it's hot. Do something to get some movement every 1 to 2 hours. When you're traveling via plane, ask for an aisle seat so that you can get up and move every hour. Do you hear me? Every stinking hour. This is really important. And I also want you to wear compression socks, either way, whichever car or air, because it's really important to keep your blood circulating. So the reason you're going to wear compression socks and why this matters so much, they may not be the sexiest travel item in your bag, but they are a must-have because you are going to be flying or sitting for long periods. When you're pregnant, your blood volume increases and your circulation slows down a bit, especially in those gorgeous legs of yours. So long stretches of sitting, like on a plane or a road trip, can make your feet and ankles swell. And it also increases your risk of developing blood clots, especially deep vein thrombosis, DVTs. So compression socks help keep that blood moving. They gently squeeze your lower legs to improve circulation, reduce swelling, and lower your clot risk. Honestly, I recommend these for anyone going on a long international flight. It's just wisdom for all of us. But for pregnant mamas, this is a must. Put them on before your trip starts, before your feet start swelling, and take movement breaks often, like we discussed, because you will really be thankful if you don't get off that plane or out of that car with super jacked up, swollen legs. Let's talk about some not so fun stuff, like what to do when you're dry heaving into a barf bag at 30,000 feet, or you're stuck in a car and the smell of fast food is about to set you off. This is my story. First up, nausea management. I was so sick with Lainey from the get to the minute she came out. With Ian, I was sick up until about 15 weeks. And then I was pretty good the rest of the pregnancy. With Hunter, I was sick, but it was not vomiting. It was the other end, if you get my drift. So this is definitely something I traveled a lot. And so I definitely want you to listen to some of the things that I did. With Lainey, my boys were all playing travel ball, so we were constantly on the road, and I was so sick, y'all. So let's talk about nausea. The best thing you can do if you're nauseous is to wear like C-bands or acupressure wristbands all the time. Take them off for the shower. That can help you. And it's not a medication. So I really like starting there. The other thing that I had to do, which really helped me a lot, but also made me exhausted. Now, I did not know this any of my pregnancies except for Grayson, is to take vitamin B6 and a half a Unisom before bed. Now, I will confess with Grayson, I had to do a half before bed and a half in the middle of the day. And then I think it's 50 milligrams of vitamin B6 in the morning, 50 milligrams of B6 in the evening. If I'm wrong about that amount, we'll put the right one inside the show notes because I'm blanking right now. The other thing that you can do is keep snacks handy, especially protein-rich ones like almonds, string cheese, protein bars, peanut butter crackers. Here's the thing. Your brain is like, I can't eat, but your body is like, feed me. Because if you don't have food in your system, low blood sugar makes nausea so much worse. And long travel stretches without food can really sneak up on you, especially if you're like hustling into the airport, you're taking an Uber, you're doing all these things. Please just go ahead and pack your snacks. This is just super duper important. The other thing that I would recommend is some sort of ginger product, whether it's ginger chews, ginger tea, ginger ale, can be soothing if your stomach feels off. And pro tip, they always have ginger ale on the airplanes. The other thing I would do, if you're anything like me, the smells are what set me off. 9 times out of 10, it was the smell. Like some of you guys have heard me say that my ex-husband's deodorant was like barf. I could not handle it. If I smelled it, like he had to change his deodorant every pregnancy because I would die smelling that deodorant. So what I recommend is grab like peppermint essential oil, mix it with a little bit of coconut oil and dab it a little on a cotton ball, and you can sniff it when you start to feel queasy, or you can dab a little under each nostril. This is really important, especially if you're on a plane or you're traveling on a cruise ship or something where you're not sure what smells you're going to come upon. Now, in a car, obviously it's a little different, but it still might help. You can even get like some kind of diffuser and put some like for your air vents and have that going as well. Again, C-bands, acupressure, wristbands can also help you as well. But the most important two things that you can do is keep food in your belly and stay hydrated. Hydration is huge. And I say this all the time, you guys. I can't tell you how many mamas that I get in triage and I realize they are just dehydrated and we have to give them fluids. So I want you to bring a big water bottle. Now, if you're flying, keep it empty once you get through security. Most airports now have a place where you can get filtered, healthy water. So fill that sucker up and sip every 15 to 20 minutes. Girls, stay hydrated. I know y'all. I know y'all. I know y'all. I have to give you IV fluids all the time when you come in preterm labor because you're not staying hydrated. Airplane cabins in particular are super dry, and dehydration can make swelling, cramping, and even contractions so much worse. Avoid caffeine-heavy drinks and opt for electrolytes like liquid IV if you're prone to not drinking and staying hydrated. On cruises, you're going to be out in the sun and you're going to be moving around a lot and getting into the water. I want you to stay hydrated. This is so, so important. Hydration, hydration, hydration. I want you to think that, okay? Also, don't forget to take your prenatals. Traveling can throw off your routine quite a bit. So set a phone reminder, have your partner remind you, and take your vitamins at your usual time. Now, let's talk about my favorite part of traveling, but pregnancy edition, and that is what to pack. Y'all, I am a compulsive packer, so I always way overpack. I do have a packing travel list. I wonder if I could get that together for you guys. I don't know. Let's see if I can get my booty together. If so, there will be a link in the show notes, but if not, I'm sorry. Okay, so let's talk about your pregnancy travel checklist because overpacking is a form of self-love in my book, especially if you're carrying a baby. So must-haves. You have to have your doctor's contact info and a printed copy of your prenatal records if you're past like 25 weeks. This is key in case you need to be seen somewhere new. Now, a lot of records are online, so you may not need that one. Prenatal vitamins and any meds that you need to take, put them in your carry-on or a bag that's going to be with you. Again, compression socks, girlies. I know they're not cute, but they're going to help you, especially on long flights, which we already talked about in long car rides. A reusable water bottle. I love having my water bottle with me, and I keep like preferably some like lemon drops or something like, like the little fresh squeezed lemon that doesn't have to be in the refrigerator. A support belt or belly band. And this is amazing if you'll be on your feet a lot or even sitting for long stretches. Your snacks. We've already talked about this. Travel delays can happen. And if you're in the airport, girl, the snacks are so expensive. So just go ahead and pack your own. Take a neck pillow or a lumbar support pillow for those long flights or car rides. I really recommend you use some sort of supportive slip-on shoes. So not like flip-flops or ones that are cute. Don't think cute, think supportive. Your feet may swell more than usual, especially if you're not listening to me about those compression socks. Now, walking through the airport and all that, you don't have to wear the compression socks, but put them on before you board your flight, and that's going to help you a lot. I would pack a heating pad or reusable ice packs or something, especially if you're prone to getting back or pelvic pain. Just go ahead and put them in your bags and have them with you so you don't have to spend a fortune to buy them. A small little medical kit, and you can throw in some Tums, some Tylenol, some Band-Aids, a thermometer, etc. Also, in your carry-on, make sure you bring a change of clothes and an extra pair of undies because pregnancy discharge is also extremely real. So I would also pack some pads. And then I would pack some interchangeable outfits. Now, I'm just going to say it right here. I'm terrible about this because I already told you I'm an overpacker, like compulsive overpacker. I mean, I'd rather have more and be like, why the hell did I bring all that? Than why didn't I bring all that? Right? Is that how you feel? That's how I feel. So, but bring things that you can interchange. There are some really cool travel packing apps that you can do where it mixes, matches your outfits and helps you figure that out so you can pack the least amount. My favorite travel bags are Monos, Monos. There's another one that I really want to buy that I'm listing and I can't think of the name right now, but y'all know I like to have a cute travel bag. All right, so let's talk about comfort hacks for both car and plane travel. Whether you're buckling into your car or you're checking into a flight, comfort when you're pregnant does not feel luxurious. It's like really uncomfortable at times. So here are some top tips for you for air travel. Remember, request an aisle seat so you can get up every single hour, girl, every hour. Stretch your legs. And you can also go pee without crawling over strangers. Use a small pillow for your lower back or bring your own lumbar support. I'm going to put a couple travel items that I really love because I travel all the time. That's like my special thing that I love. And I have a little foot sling that you can hook. You hook it around the travel tray or the tray on the back of the seat. And you can actually put your feet in it and I can't even tell you how much it will make that air travel so much better. And I'll link to that in the show notes. Don't be shy, girl. Ask if you can pre-board. Airlines often allow pregnant people to board early. You may not need that, but if you are, towards the upper limits of when they'll stop letting you travel, you can go ahead and ask, especially if you're traveling pregnant and with a toddler. Wear layers because your temperature can shift quickly with those hormones. Keep your seatbelt low across your hips, not across the belly, under the belly, and keep it fastened during the entire flight. For car travel, stop every 1 to 2 hours to stretch and walk. Set an alarm if you need to. It's really funny. My car, it asks me if I need a break, but not every 1 to 2 hours. It reminds me hey, Trish, you need a break. You need to get out. You need to walk around. It's really funny. Recline slightly with a small cushion behind your back. And if you haven't learned how to do your seatbelt while pregnant, I suggest that you look that up because you really need a visual, but it should be going across your hips, not your belly. You do not want it on your bump. If you are prone to nausea, sometimes just cracking the window a little might help. Again, I would try the peppermint oil. That is the best. Okay, so here are some when not to travel when you're pregnant. Okay, this part is really critical because there are some situations where travel, especially far from home, is just not worth the risk. So if you have a high-risk pregnancy like placenta previa, preeclampsia, gestational diabetes that's not well controlled, you may be able to travel, but I would really, really recommend that you speak to your provider. I don't even want you taking any kind of risk. You know that. If you have a history of preterm labor or you're at risk for preterm birth, girl, it's not worth it. Take a little staycay. Is that right? Staycation. Am I saying that right? I think so. I'm a little tired right now. If you're in the 3rd trimester and you are going to be far from your birthing hospital, probably not a good idea. Again, they're probably not going to let you on anyway, but car travel, you can get away with a little more. So don't go too far from your hospital if you have to. I've had some students who have had a death in the family and they've pushed those upper limits of those guidelines. But you know what? They wanted to be there for the funeral. If you're experiencing any bleeding, cramping, or reduced fetal movement, we do not mess around with reduced fetal movement around here. If you haven't grabbed my 3rd trimester prep pack, go to labornursemama.com/prep 3rd and grab that, or we will probably link to it in the show notes. If you are traveling somewhere that is not going to have good access to medical care or reliable hospitals, I would say I wouldn't do that. But again, it's up to you. I don't force anything on you guys. You're grown women. You can make decisions. But if you're in doubt at all, always talk to your provider first. So here's the truth. You don't have to stop living life because you're pregnant. Like, you just need to have a plan and travel with a plan. Have a little extra gear, which will get you in preparation of having that baby, because then you're going to have a lot of extra gear. And just have a lot of grace with yourself. Like, you may be thinking, oh yeah, I travel all the time, but traveling pregnancy is different. You're growing a whole human. You're navigating TSA, and you're a superhero in my book, because it's a little bit harder than you think. So whether you're heading out on a baby moon or just trying to survive the road trip to grandma's, remember this: smart packing, okay? Pack snacks, hydrate often, advocate for your comfort, and don't be afraid to say, nope, that just doesn't feel good for my body right now. That's also okay as well. If you found this episode helpful, take a second to subscribe. And I'm just going to ask you again and again, you guys are terrible at leaving reviews, and I want to hear from you. I love y'all so much. So please take 2 seconds, leave a review, share this with your pregnant friends. And again, I'll see you again next week. Bye for now.